Just when we all thought Jay-Z couldn't get any more lame and corny, here he goes dissing Colin Kaepernick. And not only did he diss him, he lied about him. And now, finally, Jay-Z is getting dragged like he deserves. And one of the loudest voices saying, "I told y'all," is DL Hughley. Because when this whole Kaepernick and NFL situation first went down, DL said something that a lot of people didn't want to hear. He said Jay-Z is a token black billionaire who works for white interests. Well, look where we are now. Jay-Z isn't even trying to hide it anymore. And here's the thing. He didn't just diss Kaepernick, he dissed all of us. I mean, every regular person working a 9to-5. He called us hypocrites for criticizing his billionaire status and calling him out on his Target partnership. It was a whole mess. And I'll get to all of that in a second, but first, let me show you exactly what he said about Kaepernick. So, last weekend, Jay-Z performed the first night of his Yankee Stadium residency. And at one point during the show, he decided to freestyle and address his critics. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, he brings up Kaepernick. So, in case you missed it, Jay said, referring to Kaepernick, "Buddy took a check. I ain't even mad at him. But along with that check, you have to sign a non-disparagement." So, he's alleging that Kaepernick is a sellout, that Cap took a settlement check, music, from the NFL, the same league that blackballed him. And according to Jay-Z, Kaepernick also signed a gag, music, order, a non-disparagement agreement that said he can't speak badly about the league ever again. But guess what? Jay completely made that up. Sources with direct knowledge of the settlement have come out and said, music, no such clause ever existed. Colin Kaepernick never signed a non-disparagement agreement with the NFL. And there are plenty of receipts to back that, including Kaepernick's social media posts where he continued to publicly drag the NFL. In November 2020, Kaepernick tweeted 1,363 days of being denied employment, music, still putting in work. If he had signed a gag agreement, he wouldn't be able to publicly talk about being blackballed by the league. And you know what the craziest part is? It's not just that Jay-Z lied about Cap. It's that he decided to bring him up now. See, timing is, music, everything. Kaepernick hasn't said a bad word about Jay in years. Jay could have kept that same energy and just left Cap alone. But he decided to resurrect that old NFL drama. Why? Well, here's what was happening right before Jay-Z's concert at Yankee Stadium. Kaepernick was trending because he funded an independent autopsy and funeral services for Nolan Wells, the 18-year-old from Mississippi who died under mysterious, music, circumstances over the July 4th weekend. Nolan's family confirmed that Cap is paying for a private autopsy because the family doesn't trust the official, music, investigation. And what did Jay-Z do for Nolan? Nothing. Not a single word. Not a call for justice, not even condolences for the family. And honestly, that's pretty on brand for Jay-Z. He only talks about black issues when there's a check in it for him. But the fact that he couldn't stand Kaepernick, music, getting praised for actually helping this family, so he decided to diss him and lie about him on stage. Look, we've all had Jay-Z fatigue for a while now, but this is a new low. But there was another reason Jay decided to bring up Kaepernick now. It was deflection. Music, see, Jay-Z just partnered with Target to release an exclusive edition of Reasonable Doubt on vinyl. He basically said, "F your boycott." And during that same freestyle, Jay came for regular people and said, if you buy off of Amazon or use Instagram, you have no right to criticize his partnership with Target. However, the internet did not let this slide.
Or you boycott it. You posted on Instagram? That's better, boy. Stop it. Y'all know Gigi owns YouTube. You picking and choosing the politicking ass you.
I find it quite interesting that someone who is a billionaire would feel the need to throw shots at the average consumer, the person living paycheck to paycheck, and comparing a corporate partnership with Target to everyday people ordering something off of Amazon. And then he proceeds to punch down on Colin Kaepernick. You know, the same Colin Kaepernick that just paid for Nolan Wells' family. Kaepernick lost his career due to taking a stance on behalf of Black people, Black lives, and the untimely of Black people. Meanwhile, Jigaboo J did an NFL partnership right after Kaepernick's protest, a Target partnership during an organized boycott. And while it looks like Jay-Z was scanning social media for punchlines, I'm sure he saw someone somewhere write about the Montgomery bus boycott and how that didn't require everyone to withdraw from every single segregated institution before criticizing buses. The point was to concentrate pressure on a specific target. But hey, what do I know? I'm just merely an online activist running out of characters, but I'd rather that than be seated with these.
Now, here's why Jay's argument about us shopping on Amazon or using Insta is just more deflection. First, there's a massive difference in scale and responsibility. Jay-Z is a billionaire. He's not just a consumer trying to survive in a system he didn't create. He's a mogul who chooses who to partner with. And the fact that he compared this to regular people buying on Amazon because it's cheaper just shows you how out of touch he is. And like I said, this is deflection. Jay is asking regular people to be morally pure in every single consumer choice they, music, make while he gets a pass for making calculated business decisions. He's basically saying, you're not perfect either, to millions of people who are struggling to pay rent. Meanwhile, he's already made enough money to last him generations. But that's the thing about billionaires. It's never enough. Greed is what motivates them. But there's another reason Jay-Z is partnering with Target during an active boycott. Target knows that this will undermine the movement the same way the NFL knew they had to bring Jay, music, to pacify the masses when Kaepernick's protests started to spread. And this is exactly what Hughley tried to warn people about. Black billionaires serve a specific purpose to these corporations. They're gatekeepers. Their job is to distract and entertain regular folks so we don't get any crazy ideas like boycotting or protesting. DL's whole point is that Jay is a tool for white corporations. He knows, music, exactly what he's doing. He knows the damage it causes in the black community. He just doesn't care because at the end of the day, Jay-Z is a billionaire first and a black man second. And like every billionaire out there, the only thing he cares about is hoarding money and power. Now, I also want to remind you of this email from the Jeffrey files where Jay-Z's name popped up. And the fact that this email didn't get any coverage in mainstream media should tell you everything you need to know. So this email dates back to 2014 and it's from Jess Staley, former CEO of Barclays and JP Morgan executive. Staley was writing to Jeffrey at the time when massive protests were raging in Brazil. These protests were mainly driven by anger over the high cost of hosting the 2014 FIFA, Music, World Cup and the 2016 Olympics at the expense of public services. So Jess Staley wrote to Jeffrey to tell him he doesn't have to worry that black, music, people in the US will follow Brazil's example. Why? Because black protesters have been bought off by Jay-Z. Here's exactly what Staley wrote. You want to know why we are not Sao Paulo? Watch the TV ads on the Super Bowl. It's all about hip blacks and hip cars with white women. The group that should be in the streets has been bought off by Jay-Z. But not one single mainstream media outlet reported on this email. Think about what that means. They'll write about all the salacious stuff from the files. Who flew on the planes? Who visited the island? Who did unspeakable things to victims? But an email that literally spells out how billionaires keep the masses pacified, music, and stop us from protesting. Complete silence. This is why they want you to stay distracted. And this is why they need black billionaire entertainers like Jay-Z, music, and his wife. But we're not done yet. I also want to show you what Van Leen just revealed about Roc Nation trying to smear Kaepernick's name. Van Leen used to be a senior producer at TMZ. And on a recent episode of the Higher Learning podcast, he revealed that Roc Nation was seeding negative stories about Kaepernick to justify Jay-Z's NFL deal and undermine Cap's movement.
For sure that Roc Nation was seeding negative stories about Colin Kaepernick during the time that he was really in traction with Jay-Z. For sure. This is after the Roc Nation NFL deal has been.
According to Van Leen, after Jay's deal with the NFL was announced, the founder of TMZ, Harvey Lavin, came to him and said he had just gotten off the phone with someone from Roc Nation. And the information they were trying to push was that Kaepernick didn't really want to play football anymore. That he had skipped training and basically that he was the problem, not the NFL. Van Leen then told Harvey Lavin that they shouldn't run the story because he recognized what it was. It was essentially a hit piece on Kaepernick, courtesy of Jay-Z and Roc Nation. And Harvey listened. He got on the phone and the story that ended up running on TMZ was completely different. It was about how Jay-Z might use his new NFL partnership to become an owner one day. But that's not the part that matters. What matters is that Jay-Z was actively trying to smear Kaepernick's name and turn the public against him. So, you've got Jay-Z signing a deal with the NFL after they blackballed Kaepernick. Then Jay comes out and says, "We're past kneeling." Then when he's called out, he lies about consulting Cap about the deal. And the whole time, Roc Nation was trying to plant false stories that Cap didn't want to play anymore. Now, fast forward to 2026, and Jay-Z decides to lie about Kaepernick again. And look, even if you think Kaepernick sold out, nothing Jay-Z says about him can compare to Jay's own allegations. This is our Kelly, Diddy, and Harvey Weinstein's friend we're talking about. This is someone whose name is in the Jeffrey files. This is someone with a long history of preying on young, music, women. And that's just the stuff we know about. Bottom line is this. Jay-Z has zero moral high ground to criticize Colin Kaepernick. And, music, the fact that he can't see that and keeps doubling down. Well, you know what the Bible says. Pride comes before the fall. But let me know how you feel about Jay dissing Kaepernick. Music, why do you think he decided to do it now? And do you agree with DL Hughley that Jay is just a, music, tool for white corporate power? Drop your comments below and stay tuned for the next video.